Okay, what to do when you feel stuck with IBC? Now, I don't think we mean stuck with IBC, but like when we get stuck, right? So most people don't get stuck with IBC. They get stuck because they're still thinking like a consumer instead of an owner, right? So they get hung up on, what is my rate of return, and where do I have my policy? Is my policy designed right? How am I going to pay these premiums? Those kinds of things. And I think that's why they get stuck. But when I was building a financial planning firm, and I was thinking about this just the other day because somebody was talking about their son or their nephew or somebody going into business with them. And this is actually a friend of mine who's a Morgan Stanley guy. So I just thought, man, everybody is talking about saving money and putting this money in your money growing and dollar cost averaging. And the young guy, he's excited because he doesn't know any difference, right? I mean, I didn't know any different, going from 0 to 700 million under management and then walking away because I realized Wall Street was rigged. It wasn't because I thought, hey, this isn't fun. This isn't, it was like, oh my gosh, this is not how you build wealth. And then buying companies and just slowly and systematically buying over 30 companies using IBC. I want you to think like an owner of a company, not policy holder. I say policy owner, right? Is you own that policy, you're in control. And so just remember this is confusion is the enemy's best weapon. Clarity creates confidence and confidence leads to control. But our enemies, just to be clear, are Wall Street, the banks, and the government. And not like anti-government. I am anti-government, all the waste and everything that obviously they've been doing. I mean, some of the things that they're uncovering is just criminal. I mean, it is criminal. A lot of people should go to jail. But so when we feel stuck in IBC and we just have money sitting in an insurance contract, we're focusing on the insurance contract. What's the premium? What's my cash value? What was my rate of return last year? But remember that the common reasons people feel stuck is because they think it's about the policies, not a process. It's about the banking function in your life. And then what they do is they compare it to investments, not leverage. And it's leverage. We're leveraging those insurance policies. And then obviously here's an easy one is they don't know what asset to buy next, right? I mean, that's probably the hardest thing. I understand that one because it's like, okay, when's a good time to get into real estate? When's a good time to buy a business? What businesses are for sale? I don't even really look anymore. And I find businesses. One of my businesses, Divvy, who refurbishes things like TVs, sound bars, etc. We just started refurbishing for a company called Bird Buddies. And Bird Buddies is a birdhouse that has a camera, and it's kind of like a Ring camera. It like alerts you when there's a bird, and then the app identifies the bird, and it sends you like a notification like, hey, this bird is at your birdhouse. It's a really cool concept. I mean, but we're doing thousands of refurbishments for these bird buddies. They're killing it. And so we didn't think that we would be doing that, right? But it's opening the door. It's saying, hey, I'm looking to buy a business. Hey, I'm looking to buy real estate. Like just people knowing that. Nelson used to say that opportunities find cash, right? And I believe that. But, one of the other things that people do or why they feel stuck is they're still trying to save their way to wealth. And here's the spoiler. That's broke behavior, right? I mean, I don't care if I don't have any money in the bank. If I've got a lot of money in cash flow, I don't care, right? So, just remember, wealth isn't built by saving money. It's built by owning cash flowing assets and controlling the banking function. That's it. Simple, not easy. But IBC is not a destination. It's a funding strategy, and that makes freedom inevitable. It's just a matter of how much you need on a monthly basis or annual basis. Okay, so you got to make 3 shifts to get unstuck. All right, so the first thing is from saver to strategic owner. Like you own the strategy. Stop asking what is the rate of return. Start asking, how fast can I turn this capital into cash flow? How can I turn my capital in my policy into cash flow? And then here's like just a practical tip is list your next 3 target assets. What do you know and where can you win? So like, hey, I'm in Tennessee and I'm in Knoxville and this is a great real estate market. Okay. And you know real estate, or you know Knoxville, or you know somebody who knows, like start to just target those 3 assets. And then remember what I said in the beginning is the next shift is from information overload to action. We're overloaded, we don't take action, right? Most people consume too much and implement too little. So think about think about that. Let's I'm not saying slow down your spending. What I'm saying is think about what you need to implement. How do you implement like something? You don't need more information, you need more implementation, right? So if you set up a 30-day implementation target, 1 new loan from your policy into an asset or a business use. Okay, because it could be something that you're already doing, but like in the next 30 days, identify 1 new loan that you could take. Okay, so then here's the other thing is the next shift, the third shift is it's hard when you feel like a lone wolf, right? So if you go from lone wolf to plugged into what? Instead of trying to figure it out solo, that's a broke man person's strategy, okay? Join the community. Join the community, like Create Tailwind, which we're going to change up a little bit. Your net worth is equal to your net work, right? Is you're looking at people that are doing the same thing. Like it starts to wear off on you. You start to hear about other deals that people have done. And you think, oh, I know a place I could do that deal. I know, an opportunity here or there. So, the wealth engine that if you look at the like ledger as kind of a wealth engine, right? So the policy is the engine and you plug it into the chassis of all those assets. And you want to go where other owners, people that are acting like owners, are learning, growing together, asking each other questions. And you get to that point of making that shift to not waiting as long to act. The longer you wait to act, the more expensive the delay becomes, right? You used to say that like time value of money. If you would have started when you were 20 years old saving this amount, you got this amount, and you got this and this and this and this, but then you wait till 30 and look at that lost opportunity cost. You got to start now. You need to give me your money now. That's what financial planners do. So when you join that community, you're surrounded by owners, not spectators. Like they're doing it. You have access to playbooks and deal insights and coaching that shortcut your learning curve. And you'll have clarity on how to buy cash flowing assets with IBC again and again. You're not stuck because IBC doesn't work. You're stuck if you feel stuck because you're still thinking like someone who needs permission to win, permission to take action. Like it's okay. You can be financially free. It's okay. Yes, you're going to separate yourself from the herd, but they'll keep doing the things that they always do, right? And every week that you sit on cash or wait for the perfect time, someone else is buying the deal you should have owned. So, first thing, if you're not already a member of the community, go to community.createtailwind.com because, we opened this up to do it on Zoom, which makes it public. And we used to do it only for the members of the community. And I'm excited to do it here because I want everyone to benefit from this. And I want everybody to go and check out all of our free content that is going to help you learn about IBC if you are already doing it. So community.createtailwind.com. Peter asked, what are some other communities other than Create Tailwind? Bigger Pockets, I think, has great information on there for free. I would start there because if you want to get into real estate, there's so much free information on Bigger Pockets. I'm trying to think of another one. There's some mindset ones that I can't think of the names of them off the top of my head. And I know I keep on pounding on this mindset thing, but I'm just telling you, it's It's everything. It's funny when you look at and go through like just eating clean and working out and all of this. So I'll give you a funny story about that. Okay, so I started talking to this friend of mine, and he had gained quite a bit of weight, and he hit like I think he's 51 now, and he had some personal things going on, and he just stopped eating. Right. And he lost all this weight, and he's riding his bike and all these things. And I said something like, hey, you got to like start lifting weights. Oh, yeah. I don't want to get real big. That's what people always say, right? I don't want to get real, like, that takes a lot of work, by the way. And I don't remember another excuse or something he said. So then he hurt himself. He fell off his bike. And I said, you should go see my trainer. She's really a great massage therapist, and she kind of understands muscle structure. She might be able to help you with your injury. So he went and he said, I'm going to start seeing her 2 days a week and training with her. Right. So then he referred somebody else that he works with and somebody else. So now from that, like, this is what I'm talking about from community, right? So her networking in that community of people that I know, that he knows, that all of a sudden she's gotten like 4 new clients in a couple days a week. Not killing themselves, but a couple days a week. So just saying to somebody, hey, are you doing infinite banking? No, I've never heard of it. Hey, you should join this community, lots of free stuff, and it may or may not be right for you, right? Hey, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, but I really don't understand. Then the Bigger Pockets is a great place to start. I've had a few people that have joined Pace Morby's community to get access to the people inside that community. Now, I'm just warning you when I say Bigger Pockets and there's a lot of good free stuff. I'm sure there's good free stuff on Pace's community site, but to join the actual community is $9,800 or something like that. Okay, so I'm just giving you a warning. If don't go, hey, Jim said it was free. Not that one. Everybody that I talked to feels like it's worth $9,800. I'm not part of that community, but I can't argue with people that say it's worth it. I don't know if they're getting deals out of it. If and Pace Morby talks about subject to, right? So subject to is a way to buy a house and use somebody else's mortgage at a low rate and maybe little to no money out of pocket. Just you can go watch him on YouTube, and there's a lot of free stuff on what subject to is, right? If you're not familiar. But all these little techniques are introducing yourself to these strategies, and then you say, hey, I like that strategy, or I don't like that strategy. Like, I don't think that one makes sense. I remember explaining subject to somebody, and they're like, well, the bank could foreclose. And in some cases they could, but why would they? Now they're getting their payments, and they weren't getting the payments before. This is part of the strategy, right? So anyway, that's where I find that people get stuck. If somebody asks me what's something that people get stuck, they don't know what to do with the money, or they're fearful that they're going to make a mistake on what they do with the money, right? So that's, in my opinion, that's why you don't do one deal, because nobody nobody bats 1,000, but you can bat 700, right? And so if you did 10 deals and 7 of them were winners and 3 of them were tax write-offs or broke even, okay, we're still okay with that, right? So I've had companies in the beginning that I'm like, okay, those are tax write-offs. I had a company the first year that I owned it lost 180 grand. Now that company makes mid 6 figures. I mean, it's like, just sometimes you got to be patient. And you can't just have one deal, because if that was my only deal, then I'd be like, oh my gosh, this doesn't work. I'm not, whatever I'm not the person that tells myself that, but you can see where people do, right? Okay, any other questions before we wrap it up? I hope that helps on like why people get stuck. Just remember, it's not stuck because of IBC. It's stuck because of either your mindset or your fear. All right, guys. Like I said, you got to win Monday to win the week, and Godspeed. We'll see you next week.